Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here, and today I want to talk about a game called Project Magnum. You might have seen the trailer drop for this a little while ago. I've only just got around to talking about it, but it does look potentially interesting. I want to say here, potentially, this does of course look to be like another loot-driven shooter. Well, I say that, we haven't actually seen the loot component, but it has that sort of visual style to it, and with that being said, you do of course want to go into this with tempered expectations. Looter shooters in general these days have been kind of missing the mark, but regardless, the trailer still looks really cool. Whether it ends up playing like that, whether it ends up looking like that, will of course remain to be seen, but I still want to talk about it because it has a grappling hook. I said this the other day in another video, if a game has a grappling hook, your boy wants to try it out. I at least want to try it. So, today we're going to talk about it, talk about what we know about the game and everything like that. So if you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this. But to begin with, what do we know? Well, first things first, it's published by Nexon. That's a Korean developer known for games like Maple Story, the MMO series. Shout out to anyone that used to play Maple Story. And they also assisted Square Enix in the Korean launches for Final Fantasy XIV. And the developer is Nat Games. They're a Korean developer. They've made games like V4 Global. They made a gacha RPG called Blue Archive. So, you know, make of that what you will. I haven't played either of those games. V4 Global looks visually quite interesting, but having had zero time with them, I can't really comment on those games. But let's talk about Project Magnum itself. First things first, platforms. This is slated for PC, PS4, and PS5. Whether it actually ends up going to PS4 will of course remain to be seen, but basically PlayStation and PC. Now if we take a look at the trailer looks very cool. Obviously it's a mix of both gameplay elements and CG, and whenever you see these kind of trailers and you don't see HUD, you kind of struggle to get a real feel for how it actually plays because they're meant to make them look exciting. But it does a good job of being exciting. I mean, you see people sliding down hills, you see people grappling, you see lots of explosions, you see a guy with a giant hammer. The thing that jumps out to me immediately in this one is there seems to also be a mix between both ranged weapons and also melee. But if we step through some of the stuff that's kind of worth noting here, again, the trailer is said to all be in-engine, obviously with the mix of cinematic, but supposedly that is all in-engine gameplay. It's also said to have multiplayer. They haven't confirmed just yet how many players, but in some of the gameplay segments we see 4 players side by side. Other gameplay segments we just see 3. If you look at typical looter shooter team comps, then it typically is either 3 or 4 people, so I would assume you can probably be looking at that as a sort of setup for multiplayer. There's an interesting sort of almost heavy bowgun looking like weapon. I'm guessing there are probably different classes in this. We sort of see like a mage style class. We see a melee looking class. You know, one of the things that sort of jumped out to me initially is when one of the sort of melee classes activates his ability, his sort of arm starts opening up. I kind of just thought about Vanquish. I missed that game so much. If any of you guys played Vanquish, the Platinum game, shout out down below. That game, I feel like not enough people appreciated that game. But anyway, yeah, there appears to be different sort of classes. We see some sort of magic wielding ones. We see a typical sort of assault soldier style class. And we see a guy running in with a hammer. I'm assuming he's going to be the tank style setup. On top of that, of course, there is a grappling hook, which again, I love. Like, I just love verticality, I love exploration, anything that kind of allows me to basically just not be stuck to the ground, anything that allows me to just jump around, move around, and kind of just feel more free. I like that. So the grappling hook obviously provides some map verticality. There appears to be abilities not only to, you know, explore the map, but also when you're fighting enemies, sort of pulling yourself towards them, you get knocked back. Maybe kind of like if you remember once in a World Iceborne, when you're mounting a monster and you get thrown off and you can then clutch claw, sort of pull yourself back towards it. Kind of like that. So that's quite interesting. But of course, when you think about it just from an exploration point of view, MMOs can often feel kind of one-dimensional when you're sort of rooted to the ground in terms of sort of maps. So knowing that you have these traversal options could be quite interesting. There are also kind of these interesting things on your back, not entirely sure how to describe them, sort of like Vanquish style robotic backpacks of sorts that appear to be like power sources and sort of where, say, some of the like magical energy appears to emanate from. There's also, if you look at, say, some of the different elements, we see what looks like ice powers. Again, could be class specific. You sort of see the ice lady doing frozen things. We don't see any guns in her hand. So again, it could be like the sort of melee looking class where he can switch to a weapon and then a gun. Maybe she can use casting abilities and then guns. Again, not entirely too sure. We see a grenade, which pulls enemies together, this sort of vacuum grenade. We see like an arm charge, which could lead into some sort of super ability. Again, if you play these kinds of games, Destiny, Outriders, Division, anything that is sort of like MMO light, your character class typically always has some kind of ultimate ability. Obviously, from all the gameplay, everything is third person, which I personally really like. I know that, of course, looter shooters take different stances. I have always been someone that prefers third person. I just want to see my character. Let's be honest, if I'm going to go farming gear, I want to be going farming armor. I want to see that stuff. So third person, I'm all about that. And did I say there was a grappling hook? Because there's a grappling hook, right? But anyway, that being said, that's kind of all we have to go on right now. That's everything that we sort of know about the game. Right now, it's pretty quiet. There is absolutely no release date or release window just yet. It is definitely sort of more of a, I guess it's like a concept trailer in that regard. So we're gonna have to sort of wait and see. But I will say from the trailer itself, it does look potentially interesting. Again, I know we've been burned by looter shooters or these kind of games in the past, so I am gonna go in with tempered expectations. But the fact that it visually looks kind of like Vanquish meets an MMO light with a grappling hook, I at least want to find out where this game goes. So I want to pay attention to it. Once we find out more, I'll be sure to let you guys know. And of course, do be sure to keep it locked if you guys are interested, because once we do get some news, I'll be sure to share it with you guys. If you want to catch more from us at HyperX Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below. And of course, you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.